Wow, a revved-up crowd of Nikki Haley supporters cheering her on in New Hampshire as primary voting is underway. She had a bunch of events yesterday.
She did. She's been all over the state. Voting kicked off at midnight with a 6-vote sweep. All 6 residents of Dixville Notch voted, and they all voted for her. And her campaign reveals a spike in donations since Ron DeSantis dropped out.
So join us right now on this busy primary day. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Governor, Ambassador Nikki, good morning to you.
Good morning. Happy Election Day.
So far, so good. You and I were just talking a moment ago. It's great that as you start the day, the headline is it's Haley 6 and it's Trump 0 with Dixville Notch. And forget about big money donations. Ever since, you rolled into New Hampshire, money is coming through the door.
First of all, it's sobering that the first 6 votes in the country, in a primary happened and we got those. So I am thrilled with that. That's exciting.
And the primary now.
Yes. And, and then you look at the donations. Everybody wants to talk about big dollar donations. These are all small donations. We've received just in the last 2 days $1.5 million in small donations from all over the country. People are excited about a new generational leader. They're excited about something different. And they want to get our country back on track. And they want that energy. They want that momentum. And they want to know that there's hope and there's solutions that we can do going forward. We're excited about it.
I know you had a big rally yesterday and you've been traveling all over the state. Donald Trump had a big rally too. This is what he said, and we want to get your reaction.
Now we have one left. We started off with, really, if you add some Democrats into it, we started off with 13 and now we're down to 2 people. And I think one person will be gone probably tomorrow. And the other one will be gone in November. But now is the time for the Republican Party to come together.
Nikki, what's your response?
In his dreams. I'm not going anywhere. What I'll tell you is, keep in mind, he got 56,000 votes in a state of 3 million. Is that what we're going to say decides in the country? And I know the political elites are saying we all need to coalesce around him. This is not a coronation. This is a democracy. And so, we are going to have, a strong showing today here in New Hampshire. We're headed to South Carolina. We're going to go through the tape in South Carolina, and then we're on to Super Tuesday.
So what is a strong showing? How would you label the show? What's the showing you need to go fight to South Carolina?
Well, I've been consistent. I wanted to be strong in Iowa. We started with 2%. We ended with 20%. I want to be stronger in New Hampshire. We'll know what that is when the numbers come through. I want to be stronger than that in South Carolina. It's just continuing to build.
But what do you mean by that? For example, do you want to be within, I know you want to win, but is within 5 points of the former president, is that a strong showing?
At the end of the day, you guys are going to be talking about what a strong showing is or not. Now, I don't know that you'll tell the truth, but I think at the end of the day, if you look at the fact that, yes, we are down, I've got one more fella in the race. I didn't get here by luck. 13 people, and I'm down to one more person. That's by outsmarting and outworking.
Oh, don't worry about us not telling the truth. I'm just saying that the numbers are the numbers. It's no more.
Yeah,
so
but
what do you think is strong?
I don't think like that. What I wait and see what the numbers are and see what they look like. I don't like to predict like that. At the end of the day, it's about the energy, it's about the momentum, and it's about if it looks like we are putting up a good challenge to Donald Trump. I think we have done that up until now. And I'll tell you, credit where credit is due. We outsmarted, we outworked all 12 of those candidates. And now we're down to one. And we had several hundred people there last night. We had 1,200 the night before. The energy is good.
I spent a lot of Sunday trailing you. I'm exhausted.
We had a good time.
It was good. Hockey game, brewery, and then a big thing at the high school. And something you talked about is reflected in a headline. The lead story right now in Politico is Donald Trump has a big problem ahead. A whole swath of Republican voters are firmly committed not to voting for Trump in November. They simply will. A lot of Republicans are not going to vote for him. And that's one of the things out on the campaign trail you have said. And you reflect some of the polls that show you would beat Joe Biden by a larger margin even than Donald Trump.
Well, no. And as much as y'all like to sit there and say Trump's going to have this, the truth is you're not acknowledging that 70% of Americans don't want a Trump-Biden rematch. Both Trump and Biden, their disapproval numbers are through the roof. And y'all have yet to acknowledge that. And so what I'll tell you is, look, normal people Don't look at what the political elites are saying. Normal people are not listening to what the media is saying. Normal people are saying, we want somebody that can go 8 years, that's going to stop the wasteful spending of Republicans and Democrats. We want someone that's going to get our kids back on track. We want someone that's going to secure the border. And here, Trump has lied on TV and spent millions saying, I want to cut Social Security, which I never said I was going to do.
I saw that ad yesterday.
Yeah, but you guys haven't talked about it. He said I was going to cut Social Security. I never said I was going to do it. He said I didn't want to secure the border.
You're going to raise the Social Security age because for the 20-somethings now, right?
What did I say? I said anybody in the system, we're not going to touch them. Those new coming into the system in the 20s, we're going to go and start reflecting life expectancy. That's different than going on TV and saying I'm going to cut Social Security by 87%.
Nikki, the facts are, and I hear you, but the facts are, and it's hard when you're doing these shows. We try to cover it all, but we only have X amount of time. So we definitely are doing our best to be accurate and give the facts. The facts are that Donald Trump beat you by 30 points in Iowa. Now in New Hampshire, the facts are that you were down in the polls. These are the polls. We know polls can be wrong. If you don't win today, do you go on to South Carolina? And I'm from South Carolina, and we love you there. We love Tim Scott there, but Donald Trump is also loved there. You don't want to go into your state and lose that state if you stay in the race, because we'd love to see you in some other capacity down the road. What is your response to that? Do you get out if you lose today?
No, I don't get out if I lose today. I mean, first of all, again, I'm going to say this. We've had 56,000 people vote for Donald Trump, and you're going to say that's what the country wants? That's not what the country wants. We're going to have New Hampshire vote today. They deserve to have the power of their voice said. I have won South Carolina twice. Do they support Trump? Of course they do. I voted for Trump twice. I think he was the right president at the right time. I don't think he's the right president going forward. There's a difference between support and where you want our country to go. I'm going to fight just as hard in South Carolina as I did before.
But do you worry, the Iowa polls were right. The distance was about what the polls were. Right now, you're down double digits in probably the last three major polls. And in South Carolina, I think you're down 40 or 50 points. So you think those polls are that dramatically wrong and you can make up that difference?
Well, I'm not down 40 or 50 points in South Carolina. I think we need to have a current poll in South Carolina. But I'll also tell you this. When I ran for governor, I ran against an attorney general, lieutenant governor, and a popular congressman. Mm-hmm. And I worked it and fought for it and earned it. I'm going to go into South Carolina and do the same thing. I take nothing for granted.
So there's no scenario where it stops tonight?
Of course not. We've already made our ad buy.
Yeah, how many? You played 4 million in ads?
We've put in an ad buy. I don't know how much it is, but it's strong. We saved our money. I hoarded money all the way through. We stayed in garden inns and residence inns. We were the only one that flew commercial because I wanted to make sure we could run through the tape on this. I'm going to fight no matter what. I don't care how much y'all want to coronate Donald Trump. At the end of the day, that's not what Americans want. Americans want a choice, and we're going to give them that choice.
You keep saying coronate, lie, not tell the truth. What do you say on the couch? I'm really wondering why you think we're the enemy.
Because I've looked at the media. Look at the media saying, oh, this is Donald Trump's to have. Look at the political class all coalescing and saying everybody needs to get out. That's not democracy. That's not who we are. Who we are is, when have we ever had two people, down to two people in New Hampshire, and you say, oh, it's over? We don't do that. South Carolina is an amazing state when it comes to picking president.
3 states really could choose an election for the entire country?
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's what we go through. And at the end of the day, it's the fact that you don't do this for any reason outside of you love your country. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this because I don't want my kids to continue to live like this. I don't want chaos in their life. I want them to know they can buy a home. I want them to know that they can have a future. I want people to feel good about America. Right now, people feel chaos. They feel all kinds of divisions back and forth. That's not what they want. They want someone to go in there and work and show them. And when I win, I will spend every day proving to people that they made a good decision.
All right.
So you would not if Donald Trump, it becomes apparent to you that Donald Trump's going to win New Hampshire, and he does, and if you go to South Carolina and win, would you endorse him? Just because Ron DeSantis said, I signed a pledge to endorse the Republican nominee. Do you feel the same way?
Brian, we're going to finish this, and I will enjoy telling you I told you so. But what I will also tell you is I've always said I'm going to support the Republican nominee. We can't have a President Kamala Harris. That's why I'm running, because Donald Trump doesn't beat Joe Biden in a general election. We beat him by double digits.
But in the real clear, he's up 3 points as the average of the most substantive polls in the country.
up against Joe.
Donald Trump beating Joe Biden by 3 points on the
Okay, and that's margin of error, Brian. We did that in 2018. We did that in 2020.
Right.
We did that in 2022. I campaigned for a ton of candidates that were good, and we all lost because Donald Trump was the incumbent. We can't lose again. This is about November, too. And at the end of the day, a Kamala Harris presidency, we won't survive it. And, you know, Wall Street Journal showed I was up by 17 points, and Donald Trump said it was a dirty poll. That was his pollster that did the poll.
Right.
It's a reality.
You know what? Let's talk about the results tomorrow.
Thank
See
you.
if the polls tomorrow we'll know for sure what was right.
Against the president.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. Obviously, Donald Trump would like to stop the primary early. That's what he would like to do because then he can save the money, stockpile it for TV ads and stuff like that. I was reading in the New York Times this morning, according to a Trump advisor, the campaign will make it miserable for Haley as long as she stays in the race. How are they going to make your life miserable if you stay in the race?
I don't care. I'm
sure you saw that and you thought,
no,
okay.
I mean, look, I know what Donald Trump does. He starts to throw these temper tantrums. He starts to lash out. He starts to lie when he feels threatened.
Right.
He has felt threatened. Look at the millions of dollars on TV. That's okay. This is not personal for me. I don't dislike Donald Trump. What I dislike is what's happening in our country right now. What I dislike is that we have two people that are going to be in their 80s, and we need someone who can run for 8 years. What I dislike is the fact that they're so distracted with vendettas and chaos and vengeance that neither one of them has given us a vision for the future. I don't want that in our country, and I think our country deserves better.
Governor,
what about unifying the Republican Party? If Donald Trump is the nominee and asks you to be vice president, you would get the female vote, you would get the moderates, you would get a lot of independents and even some Democrats. Some Democrats in New York are coming up to me and saying, I am changing my vote. I'm voting for Nikki Haley. You would get all of that. He would get the MAGAs. Together, the two of you could unify.
I am not interested in vice president.
Okay.
I don't play for second. I'm not doing that now.
And real quick, I know that you've been running 30-second ads all over for a long time. And when we had all the candidates in Iowa, I asked everybody if they would like to make their closing argument. This could be the last time you speak directly to the people of New Hampshire. There's the camera right there. 30 seconds, Nikki Haley. Why do you want to be president?
I think it's time we put an accountant in the White House. I have been a two-term governor that ran as a Tea Party candidate, and I took a double-digit unemployment state and turned it into an economic powerhouse. I dealt with Russia, China, and Iran every day at the United Nations. I know what it means to put them on their heels. But more than that, there is no drama with me. There is no vengeance. At this point, we need someone who's serious and who's going to work. We can either go with more of the same, or we can go forward. 70% of Americans don't want a Trump-Biden rematch. Look at both of those presidents put us trillions of dollars in debt, and our kids are never going to forgive them for it. We can make this right. We can do this in a way that makes you proud. And for once, we can do this in a way that we're all in this together and change the tone in our country. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make you proud. Let's finish it.
All right. Governor, Ambassador Nikki, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Good luck today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
The third hour of Fox and Friends starts right now.